Good afternoon, everyone, and a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all. On behalf of the Women Young Member Excellence Committee of ICI, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Yashaswini and Idol Series 70. Yashaswini and Idol is a Wednesday series of programs conducted by the WYMEC for the Women CAs by the Women CAs. This series is an extension of Sky High Symposium, which concluded its 100th episode. It is one of the committee initiative to not only disseminate information to women members on technical updation and non-technical skills, but also to empower and inspire women members to come at forefront and realize their verbal skills and public forum. With this, I invite our very first speaker, CA Meenal Udeshi. Meenal Udeshi is a CA, CS, CMA, and ACCA qualified finance professional with strong expertise in IFRS. She has trained corporate CFOs, finance leaders, and students across India, Africa, and the UAE on IFRS 9, 15, 17, 4, and sustainability standards. With her practical approach, she makes complex reporting easy to understand as a leading trainer. Welcome, Minal ma'am. I hand over the webinar to you now.
Thank you for such a good introduction of mine. Hello all. It's my pleasure. I'm Neena Ludeshi. I would be talking about sustainability on social audits. So first of all, good afternoon to all respected chartered accountants, all the experts and the distinguished guests that we have today. Today, we'll delve into a powerful lesson that how our reports can reach to realities. Okay, let us start with so over next 1 hour, we'll explore how CAs, their rigorous social audits, and how uphold sustainability and equity can help people around. Till today, even the students community believe that as a chartered accountants, our job is just to audit some numbers, okay, to write some reports, to sign. Okay, they are also into a dilemma that we get money just to sign on some papers, right? That your sign will matter the most, as said by our Prime Minister. It does. But then it is not only about the numbers that we need to talk. There are many other things. And that aspect we are looking today, that is sustainability and the social audits. So we will ground that discussion in real life case studies. Okay, we'll see some stories behind some misleading data. Okay, I'll take some real life examples, as many as I can. These are not just statistics. Again, we are not deep diving into some numbers again. These are stories of dignity. These are stories of health, trust broken, and then restored again by the chartered accountants. Let's see. Let's begin with the foundation program. What was the foundation program? Have you heard about Swachh Bharat Mission? Obviously, you might have. That was launched in October 2014. It was launched to eliminate any open defecations or build toilets nationwide. It was so famous that our Akshay Kumar had to make a movie on it. Toilet, that how our government has actually made toilets in villages. While its ambition was unprecedented, but audit of such thing revealed something else. The audit revealed that not all was promised reached the grounds. I'll tell you, in Chhattisgarh, under the earlier Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan, a CAG found that 60% of the toilets were defunct. Defunct, Meenal? What do you mean? 60% of the toilet, the budget that they wrote, and some big companies were involved like ONGC. Okay, the budget that they had was 2,000 plus crores. And 60% of the toilet in Chhattisgarh were defunct, means either they were not having the roofs, or they were not having the doors, or there was no proper structure, or there was no wash basin, or there was no water. Now, further 25% of the beneficiaries reported neither receiving a toilet nor any incentives. So 25% toilets were only on paper. There were no real toilets there, though records claimed otherwise, resulting in approx 1 crore in the fraudulent expenditure as per Times of India. Similarly, under Swachh Vidyalaya Abhiyan, CAG surveyed 2695 toilets which were built by UPSCs across schools in 15 states. And again, they found 11% non-existent or partially constructed. Partially constructed. I'll just write down so that you can understand the numbers. Just give me a minute to share my screen here. Yes, I hope my screen is visible now. I'll just write down the numbers that I was talking about. So, our CAG has basically surveyed 2695 toilets, okay, 2695 toilets, out of which 11% were not existent, okay, 11% were non-existent, 30% were not in use, okay, I repeat, 30% was not in use at all. Why? Because there was a lack of running water, or they were not properly cleaned, or they were damaged, or they were misused by the community. So over here, first question arises, is it the job of the only companies who are making it? No. Somewhere I feel we fail as citizens. Okay, we fail as citizens to use it also properly. So first of all, yes, construction, not construction done. That's the problem. That's the mistake. That's the social audit that as a chartered accountant, we have to find out. Okay, I'll just portray the numbers. So sorry for this. Yeah. Okay. Additionally, 72% were lacking running water. 55% were lacking hand washing facilities. 75% were not hygienically there. They were not having soaps or disinfectants or clean pathways. In Delhi, the government had seen no single toilet were constructed. The budget that they gave is 40.31 crores. It was allocated. It was released. This is given by the news NDTV Business Today. Okay. Now, this was about Delhi. Let's go to Maharashtra. Maharashtra CAG flagged the urban local bodies lacked any social audit mechanisms, raising concerns over the transparency across the projects, including sanitation. And these instances are underscore a critical truth. Construction only on paper does not ensure a real world impact. Okay, so the first example that we have taken here today is of Swachh Bharat Mission, where our chartered accountants has done a fabulous job by finding a fraud. Okay, so Swachh Bharat Mission started in October 2014. It was about making toilets. And what went wrong there? 60% were defunct. Where this was found in Chhattisgarh. This was the story of every state. Okay, in Delhi, 40 crores spent. No single toilet found. Not even one found by CAG. Okay, same way in Maharashtra, we had urban local bodies which lacked social audit mechanisms. No proper audits were conducted. So it was flagged by CAG himself that there's no transparency across the projects. And all these data are in the news. These instances are underscoring the critical truth that the construction of these things were only on paper. They never ensure a real world impact. Now, what is the role of CA? What is the social audit process? So where do chartered accountants come in here? We bring integrity, rigor, and verification of unearth a gap between the documents and the reality. Okay, so there can be some documents there, but the reality can be far away. And who has to fill this gap? This gap will be filled by chartered accountants. The social audit process typically involves 3 steps. What are the steps that we have to follow as chartered accountants? We have to do a planning. We have to do data gathering. And we have to do physical verification, just like of any asset that we do. Normally, when I teach sustainability standards, people think it is about the carbon emissions. Okay. And most of the chartered accountants often ask me questions. Then, Meenal, we are not experts in this. So even if the Apple company is writing that by 2035, they will have zero carbon emission, how can I sign the report here? It is not always only about carbon emissions. We have to understand this. It can be about something that they said that they did for the society. We have something called a CSR, corporate social responsibility. The companies like India Bulls are doing it by facilitating education to the poor. We can just check it is only on paper or actually money was given to the poor. Whether those people were actually poor. We can do an audit whether they were not employees, right? Because it can be in violations of our Companies Act 2013. So there comes planning. You have to define the scope. You have to think what is to be verified. Who are the beneficiaries? What is the success criteria? Is it within the purview of the law? Next thing that we got to do is data gathering. We have to review all the documents, receipts, MIS data, stepping into the field to find out on ground truth. What is on the document? And then by doing a physical verification, that is site visits, inspecting the structures, water supply, hygiene conditions, like toilet structures, does he have the door or the roof or the everything basically. And we can also do beneficiary interviews. Now, what is beneficiary interviews? We can really ask the users, are you benefited by it? Okay. Were you given were you given this money which India Bull claims that they have given? Or are the toilet functions, since we have taken the example of toilet here, and cross-checking with the records. After this, so after planning, after gathering information, after doing a physical verification, we can do beneficiary interview. We can do analysis of the data. And finally, we can do what we are good at, that is reporting. For example, in the Chhattisgarh case, the CAG team had actually visited, okay, physical verification was done by going to 1025 households. 1025 households. Physical verification was done by the CAG team. And out of 1025, 616 were defunct toilets. I'm talking about Chhattisgarh. The CA colleague collated both documentary and visual evidences to substantiate the findings here. They had taken photographs and videos. Okay, out of 1025, if you understand 616, that's more than 60%. Okay. In school toilet audits, CAG had physically inspected 2695 toilet sites, identifying 200 are non-existent. 86 are partially constructed. It does not have the hygiene. In Delhi, despite of the large budget allocation, audit team discovered no construction had taken place, because of which a CA was flagged systematically. Failure in planning and execution. Over here, failure in planning only. Failure in execution. The first step itself was missing in Delhi. Forget about going to physical verification part. And when we come to Maharashtra, the absence of social audit mechanism in ULBs meant no project has ever been verified by the stakeholders, and this must change. And whose job it is to change? It is our job to tell them that you are making a mistake here. And we have a very powerful tool of writing the report and signing. Though CA-led audits, flawed implementation was exposed, not to punish, but to correct and ensure accountability. So our job is not to punish them. We are no one to punish them. But our job is to correct them, to account them, and expose them that there was no implementation done. This yields a tangible benefits. The funds are redirected to the real world. Future planning can be done. Vulnerable communities will be finally served. So what are the benefits that the CA gives? What are the benefits? If the CA does a social audit properly, it is redirected to real world. So the money is not only issued by the government, but it is reaching to the real world. Future planning can be done properly with the fear that the chartered accountants will not leave. And vulnerable communities are actually served. Now, let me share how these verifications has led to improvements. So let us not just complain what the government has done with the toilet project. Okay, how good it was promoted by Akshay Kumar also. We need to know that once the chartered accountant pointed out these flaws, are there any major changes that happened? Yes. In Chhattisgarh, while exposing the defunct toilets, it forced the state agencies to recommit the proper construction. They have dispersed the incentive initiatives only after verification. So the funds were stopped and they were distributed again and given and dispersed only after they got a verification that yes, the job is going on. In schools, CPSs were urged to audit the remaining 98% of the toilets to fix water, maintain cleanliness, keep soap, accessibility issues. And everything was done as per the CAG's recommendation. In Delhi, renewed security, unserved slum slutters were done, and unauthorized area leading to revised allocation strategies. They had revised the allocation strategies. In Maharashtra, highlighting the absence of social audit-led policymakers, there were discussions that you should have a social audit mechanism, and it was maintained. Across these examples, one core takeaway that we have is verification unlocks the real sustainability. If you want a real sustainability, it's verification, it's a good planning that will help it. Let me pause for a reflective moment, perhaps halfway. You might, I like, just think for a moment over here. Take your time. How many of you as chartered accountants have ever felt an uneasy gap between the client's report and the ground truth? As a chartered accountant, you must have faced it, right? The problem that client is showing something else and the ground truth is something else. Just think of that one instance. Can you recollect it? Do you remember how our role matters at that point of time? Do you remember how your words impacted? You remember one audit report that you have given a qualified report, how it impacted beyond toilets, beyond CSR. Similar paper projects appears in many other domains like health sector, housing, water supply. And all these places, what matters is social audit. For example, in urban housing program, record showed that they have given free sites. But when we actually visited as a chartered accountants, they found, the CAG found that it was a poor reallocation and missing utilities. And a CA audit reversed the recognition of the completion. They reversed it. In water supply scheme, it reported pipe lacking actual water delivery. Data was falsified to show the coverage. An audit mandated flow monitoring and demolished any fake pipelines over there. Be it water supply, be it housing projects. Let me take you to a very sad event. School midday meals. The attendance record was inflated to show the higher reach, but the students were not given any food. The audit enforced the systems are checked and attendance are confirmed. Each instance over here echoes our toilet example that verification will restore the ethics. It is very simple. Look, signal is red. What do you do? Meanwhile, we should stop basically. If the signal is red, so we should stop. Now, have you stopped every time? Is red. You are very late, but you can see a policeman standing there. Now what you will do? Now I'll wait for sure. We should stop. Why? The time we save by crossing that signal would be gone by fighting with that policeman for the fines. Correct? Same way, over here, we are that policeman. We have to be there. We have to do the verification. And this time it is not only about some PPE or intangible assets. We have to do about the ethics. We have to do about the social things. Why? Because today cannot be at a cost of the future. As a CA, what we must do. Okay. As a CA, we must uphold independence and avoid any conflict of interest. We should have clear methodologies to check things. We should engage with the community and understand, do they actually need it? We should build the capacity. We should infuse national framework. We have to leverage the technology and train in social audits. Now let me elaborate all these points for you. So first of all, we all know we have to be independent. We have to be independent. We cannot have any conflict of interest, especially when the auditing clients are government programs. We should have a clear method, maybe sampling. We should visit the protocols, documentation standards. We should engage with the communities, that is beneficiaries. They should participate in verification. We have to maybe call them, just like we do external confirmation with our debtors using SA 505. We have to build a capacity within the NGOs, within the government agencies, so that they are self-auditing themselves and we can find the accountability. One is taking the work of another. We have to infuse the national framework. We should align our social audits with CDGs, okay? Or IFRS S1 and S2 are already here on sustainability. And trust me, they are not yet compulsory, but many companies have already started adopting and showing disclosures as per them. Even though it is not compulsory, we can just adapt. Then how are they showing the disclosures? And we might just use those data to check our Indian companies also for social audits. We have to leverage technologies like geotagging, mobile apps, MIS to support the real-time verifications. We have to integrate the social audit training into universities, CA training institutes. We have to field internships. I think that must be included. We have to advocate publicly for social audits in parliamentary norms. CSR guidelines are already given by our Companies Act. We have to check for government schemes. We have to embed ethics. CA must report fully. CA must not report partially. I would urge each one of you that let paper toilet become a symbol, not of failure, but of a responsibility. Let us not see those toilets which were only on paper as a failure, okay, but as a responsibility that here where the chartered accountant comes in. You will have the tools, you have the training, and we are having professional ethics to make and report reflect the reality here. We can commit today to champion our social audits, not only for compliance purpose, but for dignity, impact, and trust. Along with this, what we can also do over here is we can tell our clients, we can force them that what is to be done. We can suggest them if they ask so, for sure. If they ask so, like how, as a company, they can improve their CSRs. So a project is not sustainable if it is using resources of today to cost tomorrow. So social audit check whether what's reported, say CSR spending, actually is making a positive difference or not. Let us look beyond papers. Let us look beyond numbers. Let me take another example here. Say Coca-Cola. In Kerala, Hindustan Coca-Cola beverages faced massive protest when the locals saw their wells dry up and water get contaminated because of the factory operation. The factory was closed down in 2004. An expert estimated the damages that they have to pay is 200 plus crores. I think 216 crores. This amplifies that how ignoring social impact can lead to your crisis. How can they affect the livelihood losses? So, social audits, if not done properly, can cost the company their going concern. I repeat, social audit, even if not done properly, if company like Hindustan Coca-Cola has to shut down, imagine the small companies. Correct? I have many other examples. Let us just deep dive into examples now. TCS found many CSR built school toilets that lacked water taps despite construction. They highlighted it and they implemented the gap. So TCS took that matters in their hand that over here there's a gap, let me do it. And now we know Tata is well reputed company. And why are they well reputed? Why? Because they promise what they say. It is not only on paper. Similarly, ITCs claim to have benefited 4 million farmers. A CEO auditor actually found out, and not just registrations. They were not just registrations. 4 million farmers were actually supported by ITC. Normally, ITC is known for cigarettes and for classmate notebooks. They are into many products though, but they have actually helped 4 million plus farmers. A detailed audit was done. Okay. And many companies like Coal India, ONGC that I told you, PFC, REC were found that they have not done the work properly. Havel's wash program, Havel's, the fan, built over 4,000 eco-bio toilets in Alwar government schools that converted the waste into biogas and water, along with the workshops for the students and the parents to teach them that how it is working. Infosys used many water recycling, energy usage, and women workforce metrics here. So what are these? These are the works which are done by big companies. And we have to check that it is only on paper or done. Now, sustainability. What comes to your mind when I say sustainability? What comes to your mind when I say sustainability? You can take a minute, think over it. Okay. Is it a job of only big companies, multinationals? The examples that we took of ITC, Coca-Cola, etc., etc. No. Center to this transformation of sustainability is you, a chartered accountant, equipped to anchor the sustainability in reality. Correct? Let me take a extraordinary story of Kunwar Bai Yadav. Who was this person? He was the one, this was the lady, Kunwar Bai Yadav, 105-year-old. She sold 7 of her goods to build toilet in her home. And that inspired the entire village that open defecation should not be done. It should be freed. At the age of 105, obviously, she never needed it. Okay. But then she taught. So there are moreover global standards now. That is ISSBs. You must be knowing about it. IFRS S1 and S2. They are shaping the reporting baseline. Now, as an auditor, beyond checking physical verification, we are often confused that whatever is disclosed in the financial statements by the company, is it correct or not? So we can go to IFRS S1 and S2 and we can find out the reporting baseline. Is it aligning India within international benchmarks? A CM must embody the ECG assurance, which is not optional, but an integral part of it. In parallel, they must also foster about so sorry, yeah, sustainability literacy among the businessmen, investors, and policymakers. So we have to make them understand what is actually about it. Example, other sectors they reinforce their values like Project Rahat, where students manage urban community toilets, introduce green awareness with the art and hygiene education. The social entrepreneur Abhishek Nath, if you know, he's a founder of Lou Cafe. He's revolutionizing the public sanitation facilities in urban India. We have many influencers who are also talking about the ingredients that the foreign companies are using, how are they different in India, and how, like, I don't remember the name of the influencer, but then he very clearly pointed out that in India, Nestle company is giving baby food with sugar. Okay. But the same Nestle company is not adding sugar to baby food outside India. He pointed it out. Okay. No doubt Nestle changed the product because of the repercussion that they faced. There were many cases filed on Nestle because of this, because it's parents' choice. Now, normally parents are not ready to give sugar to babies for before 2 years of age, correct? Now, these are the influencers, these are the social entrepreneurs who are actually helping us. These innovative highlights that accountability, management, creative engagement matter just as construction. And as a chartered accountant, we can lend our skill sets. We can do data hygiene. We can do financial discipline. We can do impact tracking to scale such models. Our profession must transition, not only documents, it should be sustainability enablers and integrity champions. This involves auditing not only budgets, but also the behavior of the company, usage, the governance, the compliance, the resilience. Whether it is sustainability linked bonds, CSR spending, social audits, or climate disclosure, we are essential to calibrate truth with the action. Okay. Our credibility will help to unlock the capital, to inspire the trust, and maintain the governance. With this, I'll close the matter here. In closing, let us reaffirm that sustainability is not just the checkbox, it is justice, health, dignity, and transparency for us. As chartered accountants, we are blessed, we are uniquely equipped to anchor it. It is not only in statement, but also in substance. I challenge you today, be the bridge between the policy and the people. It's not only the numbers that we audit, but also the narratives and between intent and impact. Let us transform these paper projects and hollow promises that the big people are making and life change. Thank you. Let us commit to the future where sustainability is built and verified and sustained. Tanushree, you can go ahead now.
Tanushri ma'am, are you there online?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Tanushri ma'am,
Yes.
I think Meenal ma'am has like Meenal ma'am का ma'am आपका over हो गया ना session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So yes, now we request to another moderator, yeah, Ria ma'am, to take the question answers that we received from the participant.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, just a sec. I'm opening the questions. Actually. Just a sec.
Ria ma'am, are you able to see any questions from the participant?
No, ma'am. There are no.
Yeah, the topic, it was so clear. The presentation, content of the presentation, yeah, the of the session was very clear. So we have received no questions from the participant. So
Okay.
Tanushri ma'am, you can go ahead with the vote of thanks to the speaker. Riya ma'am, please go ahead with the vote of thanks.
Okay, ma'am. It's my pleasure to present vote of thanks. Today's speaker has enlightened us on the very social audit topic and sustainability. She has explained in very lightly manner. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us time. Thank you, participants, for joining us. In spite of Ganesh Chaturthi occasion is there. Happy Ganesh Chaturthi to everyone. I would like to hand over for further proceedings.
Hello, friends. Thank you, Meenal ma'am. Thank you, Ria. And wish everybody a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi. We must give a pat to ourselves on our back that on festival time, on the date of the festival, also, we are willing to share these 2 hours for the purpose of the profession. And a special thanks to speakers who are willing to shell out their time for sharing their knowledge with all of us. For the next session, we are talking about, smart ways to gear up after sabbatical for women CAs. And this is a topic which is very close to my heart because I have also passed through this stage. I would like to introduce Neha ma'am, who is going to share her views and ideas and her experience on this matter. So let me introduce CA Neha Shah. She is a seasoned professional with around 17 plus years of experience in Big Four and in top 10 CA firms. She specializes in financial due diligence, internal and process audits, and fraud investigation. Currently, she is a partner and a practice leader, and she exemplifies leadership, versatility, and balance in both her professional and personal life. On behalf of ICI, I take pleasure in welcoming Ms. Neha to this webinar. And Ms. Neha, it's over to you now. Thank you.
Yes, Neha ma'am is joining shortly. Meenal ma'am, we request you to please do stop sharing of your screen.
Hello.
Meenal ma'am. Meenal ma'am, can you do please do stop sharing of your screen? Bhargav, can you do something for stop sharing of the screen of madam? Okay. If speaker leave the meeting, then it will be possible. Can you do so? Can you remove ma'am from the meeting because she is not reachable on phone as well for some time? Can you remove ma'am for some time? हाँ सेशन ओवर हो गया ना मैम का नो प्रॉब्लम आप कर दीजिए रिमूव है ना मीनल मैम yes Neha ma'am
Yes.
yeah welcome ma'am you may please start the program yeah
Yeah.
yeah
1 second. Yes, my screen is visible, right? In full screen.
yes ma'am visible
Yes. So first of all, thank you WIRC and Preeti ma'am, everybody, whoever has organized this wonderful, and the regular sessions that we are doing on every Wednesday. And I also saw we have lot of knowledge base also that we have collected, which is there on the website also. So this is really helpful for anybody, who is either at starting of their career, or they want to do something more about their career, etc. And also continuous learning, which we are offering. So I will start my session for today, which is a very, I would say, very interesting and very relevant topic for any women in various stages of their lives. The topic's name is Smart Ways for Women CAs to Gear Up After Break. So I'm sure they have introduced myself, but I would like to introduce myself also. Apart from the professional side, of course, I cleared in 2007, and that time I was married at that time, and after that I became a CA. So it was already some additional responsibility I already had when I became a CA. So it was always that I had to manage both the sides of my personality, one being a family lover and second being a career woman. And I'm sure that all of us, even men for that matter, are in that kind of stage in one point or the other time, where they have to choose which one to choose and which one to give more priority. So I will start the session on that. First of all, I would like to, I've just categorized that why do women have to take a career break? So there are various circumstances in which we do take a break. Of course, the first and prima facie being family responsibilities, be it either you're having a kid, or you have to take care of the aging parents, or sometimes your husband is not able to do it, so you have to take the additional responsibility, etc. also. So that is, I think, the 50% of the time, I would say, the most common reason for women taking a break. Second, being health and well-being. Sometimes we do take a break because we ourselves are not well. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our mental health, physical health, both. So that is also very common reason. Third is sometimes we have to take a break just to pause and reflect on the career goals that we have. Now, I always say this that, at 18 years, we decide that what are we going to do for the rest of our lives. So it's not necessary, right, that, we have to continue that. Sometimes it might happen that we have to take a decision that, okay, I would have become a CA, but now my passion is different. We have seen so many of such examples also, right? When women have excelled in other fields. And of course, CA, I would always say that CA is like a skill set. It is more to do with the acquiring skills of being meticulous, being very, sincere, those kind of things. So sometimes when we decide to take a different path, that time also we do take a break. We do have to take, because sometimes in a mayhem of a daily life, we don't really get time to even think. So that is one reason why we have to take a break. Fourth reason being personal growth. Sometimes we want to explore new skills. We feel that we want to get out of the regular work that we are doing, and we want to try something in the CA field itself, in a different one. And then say, so many times we see that women, especially at executive level, they would take a break year, and then they do like pursue, like say, from a top college they pursue MBA. They want to do something, they want to do research, they want to write papers, they want to educate. So that is also a thing for which we do take a career break. Of course, then there is a relocation or life changes. Like if we do have to, if we are shifting, like say out of India, So then in, of course, now CA degree is valid in so many countries. However, we have to take sometime a decision that, okay, I will have to do something else in a different country because say CA degree is not valid over there. So those are, I would say, the major reasons why we have to take a career break. And at each time, whenever we are taking a career break, it will be for a different reason, and we have to deal with it very differently. I would like to quote here Indra Nui, madam. She was, I'm sure everybody knows about it, but she was an ex-PepsiCo CEO. And so she has, I had one sentence of hers has really stayed with me. I had heard her very early in my career, and she had said that the biological clock of a woman and the career clock of women are in total conflict with each other. Now, just to elaborate on that, just imagine in a normal Indian household thing, we would get married at around 25 years of age. And that is probably, around say 2 years of our career or 1 year of our career that we have just started. So, but then everything has its own age. Then after say in 4 5 years, if we decide to have a kid, that time, we have already established ourselves. And then we have to take, some period at least off to take care of our own well-being as well as somebody who's like, dependent on us. So in that sense, it will always be a conflict. We will always be pushing against, I would say, priorities. It itself, in itself, it's a huge responsibility. And I always believe that it's only about the a person how much he can fight, and then that is how we'll decide that how much we will be able to sustain both the responsibility at a equal level. So again, to continue, our biological clock will get start ticking at again, when we are somewhere around 45, 50 around that time we will be at a peak of our career. But then the physiology, like physically, we will not be able to do so many things because of various hormones, etc. So that is always going to be a conflict. So I feel it is very important for us to recognize this, accept it, and then move on. So Indra Nooyi also says that we will not be able to have it all. Now, I know some of us will not agree to this because we would always feel that why we can't have it all, right? But it's not, she doesn't mean that you cannot have it all. She means that somewhere, some certain things are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable for a woman, and I'm not being, I am a progressive thought process, but I just want to say that certain things you will not be able to outsource, right? So how much ever you can, you definitely should, and it's just a matter of time, I would say. We will always have time to do what we want. And I just feel that we sometimes get very impatient that, okay, I cannot do my career right now. Like, what will I do? I will become obsolete. I will become out of date, and my knowledge will get, etc. But that is not how it will work. We will always have that opportunity. So I feel that is one thing that we all have to remember. Now, what are the challenges for women after career break? Now, this is a very interesting study which was done by a private organization, of course, but it said that 90% of Indian women want to return to work. Okay. Now, for various reasons, they are not able to. Of course, there is still patriarchy, etc., which is there, but apart from that as well, there are also other reasons which will not allow women to return after career break. One being, um, they do face salary penalties. So it is like, that they will not be offered the same level of salary as they were getting. because and that discount is not very defined, I would say. So it is very, very, I would say, ad hoc. So that is, and they want to say, even if so, so there are various things here. Some women, so there are three categories, I would say. Some women would like to completely focus for some time on their family and well-being, if we are only talking about the child part. Some women do want to work, but they are not finding enough opportunities because their previously where they were working, they don't have enough systems, they don't have enough policy in place to take them back at a part-time basis, etc. Then the third being, like, women who do join full time after, say, a few months. Obviously there are maternity leave policy, etc. So after that they do join, but then also it is very difficult for them to maintain their maintain the balance between the two, because obviously when a child is young, that time they will need you. There is no doubt about it that they will not need you. So then you will always be stressed. You will always have a I would say dilemma, which one to choose. Now, if I just have to talk about my work, my experience in this thing, I, I, as I told, as I cleared my CA, and then after that, a few years, I decided to have a kid. And that time I was working in an organization. It was a CA firm, and that CA firm never had a person who had gone on maternity leave. So they didn't have any policy. It was very, very old CA firm, 50, 60 years old CA firm. They never had a policy. So I was the first one. And I required, even in during my pregnancy also, I required some flexible timings because, I had to rest for some time. I had doctor's appointment, etc. So then they devised a policy, and then also after that, I decided that I don't want to continue for some time. I want to focus on, my child. So for 2 years, I didn't work. But that constant fear I always had that, oh, will I be able to, perform at the same level as I was doing it before? And so, of course, the route that I took was that I started studying because that was still at my own pace. So I did my, professional certification at that time. So, but not every women will get time even sometimes for to do that as well. Or sometimes they have the willingness, but there are circumstances which will not allow them to, do. So in that case, also, like, say there are also there is also one very fair point with respect to the salary part, right? There are few women who work for passion, but there are women who do have to work. They have to work, to support their family. So that also, when women are not being given their due share, then it will become a challenge for them to return after break, because then they will always feel that, oh, whether I am giving justice to the salary, and whether it is even justifiable for me to return to work, or I would rather, do something else which will be at my own pace. And then I don't need to worry about, timings, etc. Also, commitments, timings, everything, right? Like, that way. What if your child is sick, and at that time you have to attend this one meeting, and if your support system is not so great, then obviously you will have to choose. And then there are obviously everybody's life, there were such life situations where we have to, like, I had a very interesting case with me itself. I was working in a big four, and I had to go to Delhi for investigation. And that time only my son got dengue, so I had to, obviously I will have to choose, for my son. um, but then there are situations also where I did dodge these situations, in terms of that, okay, like, say if there were some regular doctor's appointment, so I ask help, in terms of from my husband, my in-laws, etc., that please take it, this time I will have to attend my other meeting. So it's all about juggling. And I always feel that, I always feel very bad, I would say, when I see that picture of, women having 10 hands. And, I said, I mean, I know it's a reality, but I just feel that, we have just glorified that thing so much that, okay, women has to do so many things. Whereas, like, what about us, right? We can also prioritize ourselves. So these are the challenges that, women would face after career break. Sometimes it would also happen that they don't want to return to the former employer. For reasons could be that, they that time also they were not very happy, but they just continued thinking that, okay, once I get a baby, any which ways I have to take a break. So that is also one challenge, that they have to start afresh, because always remember that the trust factor will play a role, when you are opting for something which is not normal. So be it flexi working or hybrid working, etc. So then if your former employer is there and if they are supporting, that will become easier than the when you are starting afresh, right? Because so many, at least the CA firms, I'm sure, like, even the companies for that matter, they would have a issue in terms of that when they are paying, then how do they trust that, they are getting equal output. So those are the challenges like that the women would face after the career break. Now I have listed down certain steps which would be helpful, for women to come back to the workforce. First step being the reassess the goals. As I was mentioning earlier also, that uh, there will be some interest, some aspirations which we would have not thought. And I feel this is a time to think about it. And it could be at any stage, it's not necessarily in early part of your career. You can decide to pursue a different field, if not completely different career. If you can always decide a field, uh, say you have been practicing in tax and then you want to practice in audit, so or any such way, you can always do that. You can always have a alternative ready for you. All you need is that, you will need to work little hard in that sense. But the first and the foremost step is to reassess your goals, whether you are whether your career aspirations are matching with your with your future goal that you have. Especially also when you have see, the circumstances might be very different at each stages of our lives. Now say for example, if you're just having had a baby, and then say for example that the baby is little challenged, then you will have to tweak accordingly. It might happen that you are taking a break, say for your parents are in different city, or likewise there's nobody else to take care, you have to take care of them. You have to take a break, you don't have a choice, like, that way. In that sense also, they will have that time also we will have to think what is the objective. So there could be various objectives, right? One objective could be say money. So for you, if money is important, if money is the only thing that is, your priority, then you can choose accordingly. Then there are, jobs which are very, I would say, in today's age and time also, there are so many ways in which you can have different ways to make money. It could be as simple as, like, dealing in, say, share market, or it could be as simple as making some products using AI, or it could be so many things, like, say for example, you can make money by doing some this Upwork, etc. Those sites are there which will give you some outsourcing work. So that way you can make money, you can make content, you can do digital marketing. Everything is possible in today's age. So you have to reassess your goals, that okay, I have this much time, I have this much responsibility. I want to do this. I want to have, like, say, if you want to say you have always been very good in teaching. So you can have, like, you can approach these different classes and see if they are, because they work for very limited time. So those kind of things you can do. So it's, again, it's a time to pause and reflect, where you can reassess your goals. Second, and based on these goals, there comes the second step, which is updating your skills. As I was mentioning you, now it is again very easy for us to acquire knowledge. It is at a fingertip, and it is, I'm sure, I mean, I'm talking about years back, like, when we had to go to a library to get hold of a particular topic which was not available. I'm talking about the era which many of the, participants might even not have heard of, in terms of, where there was nothing like Google also, right? For that example. So when we were studying, I'm talking about those years. So definitely, right now we have so many courses available. Even YouTube has so many free courses available. There are these Coursera, there's Udemy. There are so many platforms which you can use to update your skills, and not only your technical skills, right? There are so many things I feel in a CA's life is missing, because they are not trained in certain way. I till date I find it very difficult to find a CA who can give a very impeccable presentation, right? So there are very few. I would not say there are none, but there are very, very few people who are there who would actually have those softer skills also. Say negotiations. Women do lack in negotiation skills, except for the household negotiation that we do. When it comes to salary, when it comes to finding, I mean, asserting our worth, etc., we do have issues. So in that sense, it is very, very important for us to update ourselves in terms of everything. We have been brought up in such a way, we were living in certain way. But if you want to make a difference, you will have to update your skills. As it is always said that you can't achieve the same result by doing the same thing, right? If you want a different result, then you will have to do something differently. So in that sense, updating yourself is the most important aspect. There are there are there are so many programs also which do like say refresher course. Even ICAI has so many refresher courses also, because so many times it would happen that we have studied, we have worked in a different field, we don't have that knowledge, but that is like an upcoming field. So yesterday, while I was reading again about all these presentations, I saw that there are so many presentations also on the AIFs, which is a new field, alternate investment funds. Then there are also AI for accountants. I remember there was one specific session on AI for accountants. So those are the things that we can do in terms of when we have to update our skills. We don't want to get into the mundane work, because we all know that one day AI will not replace us, but person who's using AI will replace if we don't, update ourselves. So then the second step, as I mentioned, is updating your skills. Third step is to utilize your network. Now, I feel that the most important and the most crucial part in anybody's career is networking. Now it will start from a ground level. So when you are say article, okay, you should have that group of articles as your peers. You, because see, ultimately all of you are going to become CA. All of you are going to meet somewhere or the other in your professional career, if you are in the same city or in the same country, etc. You then, after articleship level, you can make friends in library. You would have made friends in, say, in your after your articleship, if you have worked before, say, becoming a CA, or even if after becoming CA it becomes the most important thing. And at any and each and every stage of your life, you have to build a network. Once you have built a network, believe me, that is your biggest wealth. And I'm not talking about 500 people friends on LinkedIn. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about like a real connection. People whom you would have helped, people would help you. right? Those kind of connections I'm talking about. Like and in today's age, it is references will always count. So for example, if I have got two resumes with me, and one is my ex-colleague's, colleague who has worked with her, and then there's one resume who's I've never had, any interaction with him. He reached out to me on LinkedIn, and then it's not that, if that person is also good, it's not that I'm not going to hire. Of course, I'm going to hire. I'm looking for only talent. But if I have to choose, if I have only one position, then I will think that what is my probability of this person turning out good, because my colleague has already worked with him or her. So then what will happen is that automatically I would trust that particular person, that okay, if she has come with a so much of a good recommendation, then I might as well, like, hire him or her. So it is the most important thing. And as you grow up in your career path, this will become even more important, because you understand the companies also, that they would be, why do you see that, in certain companies, like say in the entire Tata group of companies, there are some people who are, going from one company to another to another, because it is very easy, right? Like, that way for a person to get a recommendation, when some people know that, this person is good. So at each level, like, whenever you have built a network, it will help. And I always say that, it doesn't matter whether you are only articles as a friends, or you are, a partner as a friend. And I'm not saying you everybody you have to make friends, etc. Point is that they should be, your work obviously would speak for itself, but the first push that you need after taking a break, especially, will be your network, which will help you. So, obviously, in my case, I joined my former organization, and I actually stayed there longer after my break. But at the same time, I know so many of my colleagues that they are now at that stage that they want to have swift shift, and then they do refer to me that okay, what should we do? And then I always tell them that, I will put a word for you, because I know how they are, how they have worked, that way. So that is what is important. Of course, you can reach out. In fact, in your break period also, you should build your network, because that doesn't require any, long commitment. All you have to do is, like, for 2 3 hours also, say if you go, and meet people, and like say you go to seminars, you build there multiple times. When people are seeing you, that visibility factor comes in, then they know you, those kind of things. Then you follow up, you can. So ultimately, once you build a network, that is when your life will become easier, I would say. Fourth is, of course, refresh your resume. As I already mentioned, you highlight whatever you have done so far, etc. And after you have upskilled yourself, also that also will definitely, reflect on your resume. So that is the most important part. Then comes flexible roles. I will cover that also in subsequent slides as well, because that is also a very good strategy for anybody to come back, I would say. Then practice interviews. Now there are so many these mock interview sessions. There are people, like, they actually train for interviews, etc. So nowadays, if I see, I was very shocked couple of years back, 2 3 years back, when somebody came with so many questions. When I had asked him for an interview, so I actually curiously asked that what is it like, how suddenly it was not only one person. There were multiple of articles, or there were multiple of fresher CAs who came to me for a job interview, and then I realized that, oh, they have all been following one particular person, and that person is actually, it's such a big community now, that they are actually making them ready for the future, and they are not shying away from asking, salaries, etc. also. So that is a very, very good and interesting aspect I feel when it comes to interviews, training, because at each stage, and especially you understand that when we are coming from a break, we always little bit, and if the break is little longer, I would say like say 1 year, 2 years time, or maybe more, then in that case it is very, very important for us to believe in ourselves. Whatever we have done so far will not go for waste. Okay, you understand that. I always used to feel that, oh, like, I am hired, but I don't have knowledge of GST because I cleared in 2007. So that time there was no GST, that way. So then I realized that I am not hired for my only my technical skills. Of course, technical skills are important, but the main part is that the management experience that we have gathered, that is going to basically, make a difference in when we are looking at somebody to hire us. So, and I always feel you have to believe that for every woman, that is very important to believe that when a woman is hired, it is slightly different than what, when a man is hired, especially in two aspects. One, when that person already, your employer already knows that, okay, you are having some responsibilities. So that particular part is very, very accepted. And they all know that, right? This is an Indian household. We do know what kind of responsibility a woman would have to take. The most important thing is that they will accepted you for that. But I also feel that when a woman is a manager and a male is a manager, they bring two different sets of skills on the table. One, a woman would have always more empathy towards people, towards situations, etc. Men will have more practical approach, and that synergy will really create wonders for an organization. So you have to believe that when you are hired, you as in a woman is hired, they do know the way you will function. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you are also living up to those expectations as much as you can. So as I said, you should, once you are upskilled yourself, then you don't feel, any break. You feel that, okay, I was upskilling myself. It's like sharpening your axe, right? Once you sharpen your axe for 4 hours, then your cutting of your wood will become 1 hour. So you can always, utilize that time in such a way. The last part in this particular ways is, of course, stay positive, as I was mentioning again. You will have to believe, you will have to feel confident that whatever you have done so far has added some skills to you. It might not be very tangible skill if you have done for a very short period before taking a break, but at different stages, like say if you are taking a break, like say at 50 or say 40, then you have enough number of experience, enough number of years of experience, so you don't have to worry about those things. It's just a matter of time. You are taking care of a life, I would say, if that is for any of your parents or your kids, etc. Or if it is for any other reason also, you have to believe that the skills that you have acquired have will not get wasted. So you have to stay positive, believe in yourself, be confident, and then you can, with full force, you can come back to the workforce. um Before we go on a different topic, I want to also emphasize on some of the softer aspects, which is building support systems. Now, support system comes in various shapes and forms. One, of course, being spouse, your house help, your daycare facility if it is available and they are good. trustworthy relatives, your in-laws, etc. Because ultimately, the pyramid on which you will be building your career, the base will be these ones. So I understand that, in so many times as women, we do shy away from telling anybody that because we feel that, oh, this is our responsibility. But then you have to understand that certain responsibility can be given to somebody else and they can do it, that there's nothing, which you cannot, I mean, I would say you should not be shy in telling these. It's about responsibility. It's about you will be also contributing in so many ways. And then I feel that I understand that still, like when I was also contemplating on putting my son to a daycare, I didn't find any good, daycare. Then the option that we have is like, the schools only. And the schools will also be there for like 2-3 hours initially, right? Then what will you do? But the point is that, then the way I did was that it was more like from till 12 o'clock my son used to be in school, and then he just had to come home and has to eat his lunch, and then he would sleep for 2-3 hours. So I used to go to my office at 8:39, and then I would come back by say 4 o'clock. So then, after that I have some time with my son. Of course, then after this is of course after he was little older, but yes. Second most important thing, and I think we all of us we don't do this, is set boundaries. Now, setting boundaries doesn't mean that, okay, like, I will not do this, those kind of approach I'm not talking about. I'm talking about clear responsibilities and clear boundaries in the sense when we are at work, we have to make it very clear. I have 5 hours. I will not be able to do 5 hours, more than 5 hours at, work. I will have to go home at this time. Okay. And then don't be sorry about it. That is the most important thing, because we even if we say this, we do feel ke, oh, okay, fine, 1 hour I can still work more. But then that 1 hour will become full time, you will not even realize. And then you will again have a problem, if you feel that, oh, I am not getting paid enough, or I'm not able to focus on my other responsibilities for which I had to, I've taken a break, etc. So it is very important to set boundaries, be it time, be it work. Learn to say no. I always say this, that you have to learn to say no. In this much time, I don't think so. This can be done today. I will try to do it by tomorrow. Be very clear in setting your boundaries. Even at home, you have to tell that when I am at office, I will not be able to take care of certain things at home. Somebody has to take care of those things. Even in relationships, right? You can tell your husband, you can tell your in-laws that this is my work. This is as important to me as having other responsibility. Then it is very important for me to do this for my own sanity, my own confidence, my own self-esteem. It is very, very important for me to set the boundary. I mean, the set boundaries even in relationships, that I will be only doing this, that way. And you don't need to be like a rebel and, say no. And then, so I'm sure all of us are sensible enough in that sense. The main important part is that clearly mentioning that this is doable, this is not doable. That is what I feel is setting boundaries. So, a very important aspect which I feel all of us do sometimes forget, and because of which we suffer. So, that is important. Third point in a softer aspect, I would like to say start slow. So don't think that, oh, I want to become a CEO, like, and on the next day of my, say delivery. Or say, even if you have taken a break for your parents or anybody or anything of that sort, then also you should not feel that, oh, array, I'm wasting my time here, how will I be able to, I will never be able to get there, where I want to be. It's not going to be like that. It will be when you are consistent in your effort, it will take care. So, as I always say, mountains are not moved in one day, right? They do require daily effort. So, it is like that. And everything will not change according to what you want to do. You will have to, it's like somewhere you will have to make compromise, somewhere some things are non negotiable. but you will have to take that responsibility and move ahead. Take each day separately. Don't think that, oh, I could not do any work today. I am complete failure. I will not be able to do this. And I also feel that, especially if you are coming back after your pregnancy, there are some hormones also which will talk like that, but it is not the correct way to think. So I just want to take this opportunity to tell that, don't be harsh on yourself. Be little soft. Be accept that you are doing whatever you can. You are giving your 100% in whichever manner you can, and then you will make a difference one day. Now, as I just like to ponder a little more on that skill gap part also, more in detail in terms of that, what is the target role in the industry that you want to target, and then see which tools, certifications, or skills, which are common and which will be required. So that will really help in terms of, identifying your skill gap. Talk to the peers, mentors, recruiters. There are so many mentorship available even with ICAI also, even in Institute of Internal Auditors also. There are many, like, mentors. Even generally there are women who are mentors. So they will help. And I always believe that, at each stage, you should have like a person who is ahead of you, either in life or in career or both, and then you follow what they have done, because ultimately all of us, some differences are there, but then ultimately everybody would have to face the same challenges, right? So then it is very very helpful to have someone to talk to in that area. They will help you that, okay, fine, say today you can't do this, but then you can work at night when everybody is asleep. That time you can finish this work. I mean, sometimes we just need that little push. We just need that one person to just hold our hand and just take us out. So that is very important. So again, as I was saying, and then separate gaps in two types, as I already mentioned: core professional skills, be it even for that matter, say AI also, financial reporting. There are so many updates are coming each day. So you have to be, we have to get yourself abreast with those things, as well as, like, say, your ITRs are getting changed so many times. Your GST, some of the other circulars are coming. So you can take that, time to see what are your skill gaps, and then try to work in that direction. And then soft skills: communication, leadership, time management, adaptability. There are courses available for that also. Main thing is that, you first identify. As it's always said that, once a problem is identified, that is half solved. So most important thing is that you have identified your skill gaps. That will come not come, like, if you have not tried many things. Like, say, if you have never tried to give a presentation in front of people, you would not know whether you really have fear, or that fear is only in your mind, right? In that sense. So it is very important to identify your skill gaps, and then you can work towards it. Now, I already spoke a little bit about reskilling through online learning, but then, as I was mentioning, there are flexible online platforms also available, which you can do it on your schedule. There are on-demand videos. There are, these videos which are available. It's available for you for lifetime, like, that way. So then these courses and these ones will really help you. Even say for simple, like, Excel courses, for that matter. Like, say, even Power BI is one important aspect. Then there are AI courses. And AI doesn't mean always, it's about, like, like, talking to ChatGPT. There are so many AI tools available nowadays that, there are tools available which are actually will help you in terms of, as simple as, like, say, you don't have time, right? You have a particular video that you have want to see. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes long, and then you just want a summary of it. There is a tool tool available which will do the summary for you. It will give you a transcript also, and it will give you a summary also of that. So those are the skills that we have to see, because as I was telling that ultimately you have to work smart. Working hard for certain things are unavoidable, but working smart is the most important skill that you need to learn, right? That will ultimately make a difference. Then even there are these Skillshare masterclass, they are creative learning programs. They will teach you a lot of problem solving skills, etc. Then uh, workshops and boot camps, like there are so many workshops available. Then they are also specifically for women. There are workshops which will tell you about how to be assertive, how to be good negotiator, like how to so that the skills, as I was mentioning, that you do require, even whether break or no break, like you do require those skills. There are these dedicated women-led programs which will be there on, that online also there are so many things available, right? So those are the things which will ultimately help. Definitely, if your break is longer, the tools of, today's day and age, it's changing very rapidly. So it is very important for you to be aware and be relevant to the current data, current digital tools that are commonly used. Of course, the COVID has brought a very big change, but it is very important that it's not that 3 4 years you have not worked and then you are like kind of lost, that I don't know how to do it. So you can always practice these things at home. You can always have these small sessions, like where you are also doing something, somebody else is doing. You can actually, I feel that sometimes the most important thing after, especially like after a baby is born, is to build a network of mothers, because I always feel that they are in the same boat right now. In today's day, they most of them would have worked before, and some of them would have already gotten back to work, but there will be so many mothers that you would be able to relate, because they will be in the same boat. They are also dealing with the same things that you are dealing with. So when you're doing that, you can have like a small digital meetup with them, that will make you also abreast with these technology. You will not feel any overwhelmed or anything in that sense, and that will help in terms of your bridging your that gap. As I said, take part in professional associations. There are so many sessions, there are so many seminars, and it doesn't require, even when you are on a break, you can do that, right? It doesn't require too much of commitment. It's just a few hours. You can choose how much you want to go. You can decide which time this particular session is there, which interests you. You can go there, you can attend that, you can make some network over there. So it's both ways. It's knowledge plus uh, networking. So you can go there, you can earn some CPE credits which will help you, and then you can use this knowledge in when you want to come back. So that is very very important. One very important aspect which many of us might not be aware is these lean in chapters. So lean in is an organization, it's a non-profit organization. It was actually founded by Facebook CEO Sheryl Sandberg, and that has across the globe chapters where women are helping women, and women will help women come together on a particular day, and then they network, they talk about, it's like an open forum. You can go there, you can talk, there are all strangers. So you don't even have to worry about that, oh, like how will they judge me, etc. It's not going to be anything of that sort as well. So it is very easy to do these kind of things. Definitely, as I would still recommend taking part in these seminars, etc. more, because that is the easiest part, and that is the easiest way to be aware of the current trends and the networking. So do consider that as well. Now I would like to tell about companies A lot of Indian companies also which are promoting women to return to workplace programs. HSBC is there. They have Power to Her returnship program. Axis Bank Reconnect is the name of their program. Likewise, Hindustan Unilever, PwC has Godrej, IBM, SAP. They do actually first provide the training to women, and then they do, take them back first maybe on assignment basis, then, they do take them on permanent basis also. So accordingly, this will be also, good way to do that. Of course, there are CA firms also now, who have started specifically hiring for, certain work which can be done, like say from work from home. So then for that, they do hire. See, sometimes you will have to decide whether you want to just stay in touch or you also want to learn, right? So that is one dilemma that you would face. But then it will be like that, you will have to decide that that time how will you, which option works for you the best. And ultimately life is all about, choices. So once you decide what is best for you, nobody else will be able to tell you what is the best option for you, right? You will have to decide on that part. um Now, I already mentioned this about the flexi working options. See, I feel that when a woman has some other responsibility, it is okay to have, it is okay to ask for a flexi working hours, because I know for sure that women, I'm not being biased or anything, but women are very sincere by nature. If they have been given 5 hours of work, they will finish that 5 hours of work. It could be that they will decide on which time. So in my organization also there are two women like that, and they do have flexi working hours. I am least concerned. I just tell them that this is my deadline, and I discuss with them that okay, do you think this is feasible considering you are working for 5 hours in a, in a day? So then they say okay, yeah, not by say Wednesday, we'll do it by Thursday. I said fair. Then they will finish, and that is not my problem. Whether they are clocking in is not my problem, right? And now I feel that organizations are also changing. They are also understanding that getting a good manpower is very important, and you don't get it very easily. So they do allow flexi working hours also. They also have hybrid working when, 2 days or 3 days they come to office, and then rest of the days they can work from home. Or there are completely work from home opportunities also if that is suitable to your job. Now, I was in internal audit, and for me, it was very difficult to have work from home because internal audit, by its own nature, I will have to go and visit the client to talk to them, to to understand their processes. If there is a manufacturing, I have to go to the plant. I have to go to the, for service sector also. So it was very difficult for me to do the complete work from home uh, way of working. But I could do flexi working, I could do hybrid working also at that time. I'm talking about like really long time back when I started my career, and I'd say early part of my career. So I'm sure that if there is a will, there is a way. I'm sure if you try, then there will be mistakes. I would not say that okay, it's okay, to make mistakes. I mean, I would say if you are trying certain thing, and if you feel that okay, this is, let me try for 6 months whether this will work for me or not. If it doesn't work, it won't work, like, it's okay. You can find another one. It's not necessarily that okay, once this particular thing has not worked, it's not going to work forever. There are, people who are, there are organizations which are more open than others, right? There are organizations which are open to people, doing these kind of things. They are organization, they are not, they are still very, old school. They will feel that oh no, how would I trust, what if they are not working, or how, what about if they are outsourcing, or whatever it could be, their fears, which is fair, on their part. But point is that you should try. If you don't try, you will not know whether that is really working for you or not, in that sense. One very important aspect is the entrepreneurship is also a route. We know so many women who, in their second inning of their career, they have done, entrepreneurship. So Falguni Nair being the flag bearer, I would say, there are so many times I have seen even around me that women, they were in a different field earlier and in a corporate job, etc. And they feel that, okay, I don't want to do this job now. I just want to have something of my own, which where I can be the boss. So that is a time, this is a time when you can do at any given point in time. I mean, if you talk about Falguni Nair, she had started much, I mean, Naika much later, like that way. So it is very, very important to believe that you can do. It could be any small startup also. I know one of my friends, she understood that, when at the time of she delivered, after that she understood that there is a gap, where the women are not getting the very high quality, for that matter, towels and etc. So she actually started that online, and she did wonderfully well in that as well. There are these women, like, who would have taken a break for so many years, then they realize that, okay, there is a gap in a society, and I always used to feel that when I was also, my son was also small, I used to feel that I wish, in the theaters there are, play areas that they make, so that, we can drop the kids over there for 3 hours and then we can go for a movie. So it is, of course, for that time my priority and my entertainment source was like, going for movies. So then I used to always feel that, right? So then you have to be open to anything when you are returning back to work. Work doesn't have to mean 9 to 6 job, right? You can ultimately, your goal should be that you are ultimately the face for your child. So, and always understand that they will see you as a figure, to look up to. So in that sense, even if you are doing anything like, like entrepreneurship, or it could be education, you could be, so many moms I see that, have turned into education, right? Because that will have, like, flexi timing, lot of holidays. Like in my son's school also, there were so many moms who were like, they were teachers in the same school, right? So that way it is very, very easier for them, the same holidays, etc. Then, so I was talking about entrepreneurship. Mompreneur is the word that they say. So, and again, I don't want to restrict my session to only the, career break after having a baby. There are various, time when, I know someone, she had to, she was never, like, probably after getting married, she had never worked. Now her husband, there was a time, like, untimely demise of her husband, and she had to take care of the entire, factory, of her husband. We know the example of this lady at cafe coffee day, right? Her husband, expired, and she had to take, and she has actually turned it around. So it all requires, like, your own will. And there are so many examples where, government of India is also helping in entrepreneurship. You women, I think, get 1 crore, up to 1 crore loan if there is a women-led startup. Also, there are alternate investment funds which have funded so many women-led startups. There is a Startup India Seed Fund scheme, which has approved so many, since 2021, they have around 1,278 women-led startups. They have approved around 200 crores of worth of, funds. So there are various things, which you should just keep your eyes and ears open, have very strong will, and that will, make wonders. Now, to conclude, there are multiple pressing priorities. It is a fact. It's whatever they say. whatever they call it, we have to juggle the priorities. We will have to decide at that point what is unavoidable for us, and accordingly. And see, the stress is also because of that, right? When you have multiple pressing priorities, if you don't have a priority of, like, say, taking care what is going to be cooked at home, you don't have to worry about it, right? You will not think about it. But because you have to worry about it, you have to do the aftermath of, okay, what all things need to be there for me to cook this. So then you will have to have that kind of lineup in place. um, Equality, whether it's a reality or myth, I would say it is very difficult to, uh, you know, pass any statement on that, because for everyone it's a different circumstances. However, I would like to say that when we say it is not going to be 50-50 for men and women. We will have to have little more contribution than men, and they will also contribute in a different way. So ultimately the thing is that you need to build that kind of support system for each other. Ultimately that is what will decide your career growth. uh, Also, I would like to touch upon organization readiness. I know now a lot of organizations are becoming open, etc. But there are reforms which are required from the organization side also, which means that they will have to be more inclusive. They will have to be little more open towards women's needs in that sense. So definitely that change is also, slowly it is happening, but it is still long way to go, I would say, over here. You must be visible, as I said, whether it is going and meeting people, you keep in touch with your old colleagues, your boss, your whoever, your clients for that matter, like if you're in client facing role, that will ultimately help you. And a small reminder, be kind to yourself, don't be so harsh. It is just a phase, and this too shall pass. Be patient. I'm sure success will be on your way. So yes, that's it about it. If anybody has any questions, etc., I'm ready to take. So otherwise, we can end the session.
There are no questions for you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, on behalf of the WMYC, we would like to say a big thank you to our wonderful speaker, CA Neha Shah, ma'am, for apprising us today on the smart ways for women CAs to gear up after a break. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone for taking the time to join the session on the special occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Thanks once again.
Okay. Thank you. Can we exit?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.